For how to begin laying in your color on top of your underpainting. This is a technique called glazing, which basically is you're using this stuff, Liquin, to lay in, you're going to paint over the entire surface of the canvas. And that just with this, you know, right out of the bottle, just so that it'll be shiny and it's clear. You want to put it on not too thin, not too thick. You don't want it dripping, but you don't want it really thin because it'll dry quickly, especially with the weather being like this. But this will stay wet. Like, you know, I'm going to start the demo now. It'll probably take me about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And then you guys will have another couple hours to work on it. It'll stay wet that long, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. But you want to lay this stuff in on top, and then that's what you're going to be using to create the transparency of color that you begin building up with. So you're not going to try to match the basic using the lights, mediums, and darks. Laying in those tones is a guideline. They don't. Some of you guys were asking me, is that dark enough? Is it light enough? In all of your cases, if I approved it, it's close enough, and that's fine. So basically, I need to take this image now. You know, if you remember, I had. I'll hold this up so you guys can all see. But the last image I had was this one, right? Was the sepia toned image that I painted the underpainting from. Now I'm going to start working from my full color image, which is this. And what you want to do is, if you're dealing with anything spatial, meaning there's some layer of distance in it, what you guys want to do is work from the back to the front. So I would start with, start with the sky, then with the stage, then with the trees, then with the fence, then with the umbrellas and things like that. So that's kind of your mental plan, like where do I begin, how do I work it? I can tell you right now, like looking at the sky, that my underpainting is relatively dark. And if I let a lot of that underpainting show through, it's really going to desaturate that sky. It's not going to look very blue. So I'm going to lay it in just to show you what it looks like, but I will probably over time build up another layer to make it look blue, because that's a good instance where I actually do want to cover up the underpainting. There are other parts, like with the trees, for example, where I may not want to cover up the underpainting. So the first thing you want to do is, I've got my little turpenoid, although you're just going to use that to basically rinse the brushes. I got my rag, got my turpenoid, put my turpenoid in the can, right? And now I have color. Okay, this is exciting. So the first thing I'm going to do actually is just get the Liquin down. So this is your Liquin, open it up like that and glop out a good amount kind of down in a corner of your palette paper. Like it's a fair amount, like that much, but it's a big container, so you've got plenty. You're going to use the big brush again, the way you used it a lot for the underpainting here, and basically just lay it in like that. Just you're going to paint it like this. Probably going to need more than that. And I'll definitely want to, depending on the light, angle it a little bit just to make sure, because it's so shiny, you want to make sure you have everything, covered up. Don't worry about it, like you can see really obvious brush strokes. Don't worry about it, it's fine. You're going to smooth all that stuff out anyway. I generally try to keep it, as you probably know, it's like, I try to keep the painting at a level depending on the size and format of your painting. I try to keep it at a level where my eye is like right here, kind of in the middle. And yeah, there we go. I'm just going to leave that open. And I feel like Bob Ross. We're just going to make some happy trees. I do have happy trees. Okay. Only he uses that totally tricked out fan brush, which we're not going to use. So don't be sad. It's like, oh, I saw Bob Ross and I took this beginning painting class. I thought I was going to get to use that bitchin' fan brush that he uses. It's like, no, you don't get to use, Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Again, I'm like, my light's not that, there, big empty gap in the middle, like that. Okay, is everything covered? Pretty much. Thank you. See, this is why you have students to help you. Because teachers don't know what the hell they're doing. There we go. I'm going to put on just a little bit more, because it's not drippy or anything yet. So I'll use what I've got left here. Lay it on. Now it's like flying all over the place. That's always good. gets all over your clothes. Okay, that looks good. And you see, it doesn't, I'm kind of going, you know, I have slightly obsessive compulsive traits when I paint and otherwise, which we won't go into right now. But I'll show you what I mean. It's like, you know, I could go like this. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Why? Because I'm going to go back in again, you know, with the paint on top of this. So whether the brush strokes are going that way or that way or that way or that way, who cares at this point? So I got my Liquin, boom. Now this is what I do. Okay, it's like, you know, I'm done with the Liquin for now. I'm just going to dump it in here and just let it sit. You know, if I need to clean it, I'll get it. Now, I want to get my, that's why you wear the shitty pants, so you can get like stuff like this all over them. That's why I'll always wear the same pair of pants every day, and you're like, Cole, do you only own gray pants? It's like, no, but I'm only going to wear them here because they're dirty. Now, you want to lay your colors out just a little bit at a time, okay? Now, and hopefully you can see me do this. Okay, you don't have to do this. You do have to lay out a small amount. Okay, like that. Like you really don't need to put out any more than that at a time. If you need more, put more out. But once you put it out, as you know, you can't put it back. So just put it out a little bit. Yes, I do the Roy G. Biv thing. I have to do it. You can put them out in any order you want, but I do the whole prism: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, because it's just what I do. So I put out that. So that's the alizarin crimson, which is kind of it's a rosy color. It's like a pinky color. Then just red. We don't have orange. You get orange by mixing yellow and red. If you want to go out and buy an orange, you can. Titanium white is your go-to friend. You're going to be using this probably more than any other paint. So I always put the white over by itself. You know, because it's kind of the one paint that always ends up being mixed with the other paints. So, boom. Now there is no black, and I'll show you why. When you use actual black, it's a color killer. Okay, like any black pigment, it sucks the life out of a painting really quickly. There are very few painters who can get away with real subtle use of it. I'm thinking of Velázquez, I'm thinking of Goya, and I'm thinking of Manet. But it's really tricky, and it requires years of practice before you can pull it off and not have it just completely suck the life out of your painting. So I recommend when you are trying to make a quote-unquote black that you use, actually could somebody reach over on the shelf behind me, there's the burnt umber, that you use blue. Like an ultramarine blue and a brown. And if you mix those together, thank you. If you mix those together, I don't need the sienna. That's really more for the underpainting at this point. So if you want to, you know, you can mix a really good black by mixing the brown with the ultramarine blue. It will not be black like your shirt is black, but it will be so close and it will not kill the color that it's really effective. So I've laid my colors out in these little amounts. Got that? Okay. So I'm ready to go. The Liquin's down. What do I want to do? How do I work? From where to where?
Back.
So I'm going to start with the sky, which is kind of big. So, you know, at this point, I'm using the big brush to lay down the Liquin. Now I'm using like the smaller guys to do this. So I'm going to try a little of this ultramarine. Oops, where's that? No, here. Oh well, it's a little green, so what? So I can use a little of the ultramarine and put it here, and I obviously want to have like some white in there, not too much. So let's try that. And I'm just laying it in like this, right? Just really quickly. And see what I mean? It's like you can still see, because it's kind of transparent, you can still see the brown underneath. Now that might be an effect that you want. You might not want the color, you know, to be really vivid or really intense. Frankly, I probably am going to want it to be like that. So, and see how little I'm using? I'm just pulling a little bit out from the palette like this and just putting it in here. So it's like it's more of a dark blue up here, like that. Here I am being obsessive compulsive because it's the sky. and I want it to be fairly flat. I wipe off the blue because I want to get some more white in here. Now, the thing to be careful of with the white, probably more than any of the other colors, excuse me, Frank's coffee, it's good for you. Makes me choke though. Okay. Yeah, it's a little too white. Got a little blue back. And so, I'm just adding blue in here. It doesn't have to be perfect now. You're just blocking in, you've blocked in the lights and darks. Now you want to lay in the color. And the colors affect one another. Like once I put the green in, this color, the pale blue versus this medium blue, I'll put a little dark blue up towards the, higher up in the sky like this. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. All right. Like that. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now I'll leave that for now. Now, also behind this, if you look at the image, there's the sky coming through the tree. So I just want to hit that a little bit too. So I'm going to take this, a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, and just take a look and just where am I going? Boom, like here, 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 here. There's a big spot down here. A little more white in with the blue. Like here, in between, it's all in between the branches. Now, it's not exactly the same everywhere. And again, I'm not worried about it being perfect. I'm just trying to block in the basic colors, see how it's going to look, and it's going to stay wet for you. The good thing is, it'll stay wet while you're working on it today. Overnight, it will dry, and then you're ready to go back in and do other layers on top of that. So right now, it's pretty simple. I'm just using, blues for the most part. And yes, question?